Should you read The Book Eaters by Suni Dean? Let's find out. I had the pleasure of receiving an advanced reader's copy of the audiobook for Suni Dean's The Book Eaters. So first, I'd like to apologize to Suni for not getting this review out earlier, as the book came out in August. I finished the book well in advance of its release, but for those of you that have been following my channel for a while, you would know that I haven't really been active in the last few months because life has just been crazy. The Book Eaters tells the story of Devon, who is a member of a family that has a secret, and you'll see Fitz maybe in this shot here. Hi, buddy. She is one of a few families that has a gift where they can eat books and retain the knowledge that is within those books. But every once in a while, there's a book eater that's born that instead of craving books, they crave brains. When Devon's son is born with this hunger, she'll do almost anything to keep him safe. I really enjoyed this book, and while I know it's pretty late in October, this is a really good October read because it has almost these gothic vampiric vibes to it. And because it's this new take on vampirism, it had a really interesting and fresh take that I enjoyed. And it felt like a really, truly unique premise. I am sorry if you hear things, Fitz, come on. Don't be like that. I also thought this was a really good book for LGBTQIA+ representation, even if it is a bit understated. Although I will say some people will be triggered by the family dynamics in this story, so just be warned of that. Motherhood is a very complex subject in this story. Fitz is kind of messing with the tripod, so if I start wobbling around, you know why. The way women are raised in Book Eater society is very reminiscent of The Handmaid's Tale. And because of that, because your child is likely to be taken from you, attachment to your child is seen as not a good thing. And yet this book still manages to tell a great story about how a mother is attached to their child. Also, in case you haven't been watching my content recently, I've been in a very down with the patriarchy mood lately. And because of that, I really appreciate how Devon kind of bucks against the expectations of her patriarchal society and how she fights back against these pretty insidious men in her life. My only complaint about this book is that sometimes the book switches from Devon's point of view to her brother Ramos's point of view, and that switch seems really unbalanced. In the commentary that they had after the audiobook, Suni said that she did this because she wanted to give perspective into the other side of what was going on in the story. I felt like there should have either been more of Ramos in Devon's POV, or there should have been more Ramos POV as a whole. And that's just because the scenes were so few in number that they felt a little out of place. The world building in this book is also really interesting, and I enjoyed it. It would be considered a low fantasy because it takes place in our world, but with fantastical elements. And it definitely had this old world British feel with these established houses of book eaters. And book eater society felt well thought out and was appropriately complex. Devon is a character you like from the start because she has always been bucking against the expectations of what it is to be a woman in book eater society, whether it's from reading off-limits books or from her ferocity in protecting her son. Her journey is both simultaneously heartbreaking and triumphant, although I know that the ending can be seen as ambiguous on whether it's triumphant or not. I just always tend to read things in a more positive light. If you watched last week's wrap-up video, then you know that I gave this book 5 stars. If you made it to this point in the video, leave me a book stack emoji because I'm hungry. And if you liked this video, check out last week's wrap-up and TBR. Let's see what stories tomorrow brings.